Sinha, CEO of Upma, and Shri Vivek Tiwari, Managing Director of Satya Microfinance. So we'll move on with the next part of the day today. So our next session is on the way forward, reimagining the future state and the strategic roadmap ahead to achieve financial inclusion. To facilitate and moderate this session, may I please invite Mr. Vivek Belgavi, partner from PwC. Welcome, sir. Along with our esteemed panelists, Shri Vivek Tiwari, Managing Director of Satya Microfinance, I believe is on his way. Shri Alok Biswas, MD Janakalyan Financial Services and Indie Trade Microfinance Limited. Sir, please join us on stage. He was just here. Alok, sir. Ashwin, please. Shri Gaurav Seth, CFO of Airtel Payments Bank. Welcome, sir. Shri Ashish Agrawal, Director of Resurgent India Limited. Welcome, sir. And I'm looking for Shri Sudhir Sinha, CEO of Upma, who I believe is also on his way, but we'll get started nevertheless. Over to you, Vivek.
But we'll get started. Good afternoon, everyone. Looking forward to this session. I think we had a extended inaugural, and some of the panelists were sharing with me that a fair bit of content has been covered, but I do think there is no substitute for having practitioners discuss among themselves. To just set the tone, I thought I'll just share an anecdote. Whenever there's a discussion on, so by way of introduction, my name is Vivek Belgavi. I look after FinTech and Alliances in PwC. Work closely across the sector. I'm a big proponent of leveraging ecosystems, alliances, and partnerships. So I'll start with an anecdote which a founder colleague had shared with me, and they were in the payment business, and I heard the same thing from someone who was in the lending business, that sometimes in financial services we get little bit obsessed about the specific product that we are working on, but the broader context is what are we working towards. So if we are talking about microfinance today, microfinance makes sense if there is entrepreneurial activity in the ecosystem. So what we have seen the trend happening is, from financial institutions perspective, not just focus on using technology and outreach and digital, and we'll cover a lot of those points which help us more effective delivery of our services, but getting closer to the economic activity itself. And unless economic activity exists, a lot of financing and payment activity will not exist. And there lies the dilemma. Will the financial institutions be allowed to support economic activity development? And we have seen some plays, and especially when we are looking at MSMEs, can we start helping them in bookkeeping, some of the other applications that they need? But more importantly, how do we go and closely partner with other allied industry digitization activities, could be in agri, could be in MSME, logistics, who are digitizing those workflows and then get embedded finance into it. A simple case in point, a decade back, 2 decades back, we would have sent a peon to say, deliver object A to object B, and only knowledge workers' data was digitized. In the earlier session, someone spoke about Uber, someone spoke about Swiggy. Now these are the digital platforms which are digitizing that work. As the work gets digitized, we have got data, we've got access to someone who is performing that work, and that data is gold when it comes to financial services. So how do we get embedded into that ecosystem? With those opening remarks, I will really go across the table, probably start with you, Vivek, on quick intro from your side and your organization and your relevance from an MFI space, and we'll do a quick intro and then jump into the topic.
Myself, Vivek, MD and CEO Satya Microcapital Limited. Satya is a 6-year-old microfinance institution, having presence in 22 states. More than 5,000 employees are working for Satya, and customer base is around 12 lakh customers 12 households are there whom we are serving now. So that is a...
Thanks, Vivek. Alok?
I am Alok Biswas, Managing Director of Janakalan Financial Services Limited, and also the Managing Director of Indie Trade Microfinance Limited. We are doing some merger. We are at present, if you look at Janakalan, we are present in 6 states, and if you look at Indie Trade, we are present at another 10 states. So mostly in south and eastern part of the country.
Thank you. Gaurav?
Yeah, hi. My name is Gaurav Seth. I am the CFO and Head of Institutional Business at Airtel Payments Bank. The bank is a key partner to the MFIs in terms of cash collections. We provide the last mile cash collection facility for the MFI partners. Today, as I speak, we have close to 6 crore customers of the bank, active customers of the bank, and we are present across the country. We have over 5 lakh banking points.
Thank you. Ashish?
Hello. Yeah. Good afternoon to everybody. I'm Ashish Agrawal. I'm the director in Resurgent India Limited. It's a company which is a 17-year-old. Now we are entering into 18 years, so we will become adult very soon actually. But otherwise, we are SEBI registered merchant bank, and we are basically into the debt, equity, M&A, then the valuations, and many other things. So the sector MFI, we are closely associated with this sector since last many years, and we are helping, or we are partnering in the growth of the microfinance in various ways.
Thanks, Ashish. To kick it off, I'll start with a query which will go across the panel. We heard that this is one industry where physical touch point is very, very critical. But having said that, we have seen the value of digital adoption. So how do you think, my question is, how can MFI foster wider digital adoption both for existing customers and new customers? And Vivek, probably will start with you and go around the panel.
The microfinance companies are nowadays they are quite innovative, quite adaptive, and as a sector we are ready for the changes. Post demonetization, I think the first challenge was how we will disburse our money, and Jan Dhan was utilized, I think, in a better way by the microfinance institutions for disbursement purposes. And almost 100% cash disbursement is almost now it is 100% bank account disbursements. From there, by linking the Airtel Payment Bank CSP points and many more payment and other gateways, we are able to ensure almost 90% plus digital collections from the different parts of the country. If we are doing directly digital, or the cash is being digitized within 1 hour of the collections from the center meetings. That strength as a sector we have developed. And years before, I think 8-10 years before, the delay in data was a new normal at that particular time. That was normal, and report from branch to district office and district office to state office and then to the central office. It was delayed by almost T+5 or T+7 days. That was a normal, and nowadays it is a delay by 5 or 7 minutes is there. It is a batches at every 10-15 minutes are running. It means sector is quite vibrant, and the biggest strength is that we are ready to adopt the changes whatever is happening in the digital world, and even our customers are quite techno savvy nowadays. Means we were doing our survey, and almost 30-35% customers, they are having smartphones nowadays, and even they are using the app, they are doing online shopping and many more things. It means rural infrastructure is also being prepared to the next level now.
Great. Alok, your thoughts?
As Vivek told, that there is the main thing actually, the rural India has been changing a lot. And if you look at Janakalan also, we have started AEPS, BBPS, QR code, a lot of things. But in the West Bengal and eastern part of the country is not that much great that we could provide much, whatever I am telling, that maybe 3 to 4% collection we are getting digitally. But otherwise that cash collection T+0 or T+1 days, that is also bigger benefit. And of course that the scenario and has been changing, especially rural India and women entrepreneurs, they are coming up as the mobile technology and other thing will be growing, and definitely the digital collection and technology will play a big role in this industry. One major thing actually in this panel, in this morning discussion also, it came that how the cost minimization will be there. So we'll discuss in that actually, whether it is a cost minimization is there. Apart from this, getting fund immediately, that is one part, big part, but any cost, operational cost and other things, because in challenges as there are major challenges in this industry, our MFI industry is the cost, because we have fund cost and again this employee cost. Thank you.
Thank you. Gaurav, you're as an Airtel Payments Bank, you're a partner to this ecosystem. From your vantage point, how have you seen the digital adoption journey done by MFIs?
Yeah, so actually, Vivek, before I address how has been done by the MFIs, I'll actually want to give an anecdote. So so maybe I have to bring the mic up. No, that's better. So I was on a jungle safari, and obviously I was not carrying cash. Suddenly my tire punctured, and I did not know what to do. So there was this guy who came in. I told him, I don't have cash, how do I pay you? So he said, I don't know how does it work, but here's my phone, you can make me the payment here. And the reason I'm giving that anecdote is, it's a very, very powerful thing. The UPI as a digital mode has become an extremely powerful mode. While we think it's only happening in the urban, it's very, very deeply penetrated. Coming to the moot point of the MFI, today we are partnering with multiple MFIs doing the cash digitization, doing the cash collections, using our banking points, enabling them to do the cash collections for the MFIs. And as we look forward, I feel this is going to go into more deeper into moving away from just cash to QR based collections. We are also providing solutions, or we are in the process of providing solutions wherein we'll become one-stop shop for the MFIs, wherein the MFI can come in and we can provide them all sorts of collection facilities, whether it be through Aadhaar Pay, whether it be a eNash, SI, or Pay by Link. So that's the kind of opportunity that I see, and I don't think it's very far off. I think over the next 6-8 months, and the way the country has been adopting digital, I think it will just continue to grow further and further.
Thanks, Gaurav. Ashish, you've also been a partner into this ecosystem. How have you seen the digital adoption journey?
So I think a lot has been done already in the microfinance sector. This collection efficiency, this collection, digital collection is now increasing day by day. But still the sourcing is still, I think, having the lot of physical involvement. If it can be done in a faster manner by using the digital mode, then I think the overall, always we are discussing the operating cost of the MFIs, how it can be reduced when the sourcing part, which is still the physical form, if it can be done in such a manner where the digitization can be done, and the time involved, we are talking now 3-minute loan or maybe 5-minute loan, how we can do it in MFI space, although there is a fear in the mind when the physical touch will not be there, the borrower will not be known to us and all. But I think a lot has been changed, and if the MFI industry will think of on this, maybe not 5-minute loan, maybe 1 hour loan and all, basically, this will help to grow further in this industry.
We'll invite Mr. Sudhir to join us. He's MD of OPMA, UP State Cooperative Body. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. Ashish, on your point, and maybe for my panelists as well, I track a lot of fintech space, and in the microcredit space, almost 60% of new credit. I was in a discussion with TransUnion, and they shared that almost 60% of the new credit being dispersed is new to credit, and that is in the microcredit space. A lot of it is done digitally. So sometimes I feel, to your point, Ashish, that when we track something under MFI, there is a lot of other stuff which can get missed out, right? It's the type of institution we are in. And if you look at that category, a lot of that is digitally dispersed. On collections, definitely physical touch point is needed, but while disbursing, a lot of digital touch points are being followed, at least in that part of the world, which we can borrow from or learn from. But to extend that point, and since we've been tracking, and I've been tracking fintech for the last 6 years, we have seen different themes evolve every couple of years. Last couple of years, I think the theme that we have been very bullish on is, let's start tracking the digitization happening in allied segments. Like when GST rollout happened, whichever enterprises have adopted GST, that data is now available. We can't tap GST, but all the ASPs we can partner with, tap the data and use that data to go forward. Similarly, whether it is commerce, whether it is agri, healthcare, logistics, there are many of those segments which are getting digitized. And as MFI customers, whether they are retail or MSME, they will be part of that ecosystem and a lot more data would be available. So Vivek, just tapping on your thoughts on how can MFIs leverage, and many of them are hyper local, they are starting to work on tier 2, tier 3 cities as well. Any experiences you can share, and I'll go across the panel of how such partnerships can be leveraged from a acquisition or a servicing perspective.
I think our more than 90% customers, they are coming from the base of the pyramid, and they are availing a loans of almost 50,000 rupees or 60,000 rupees. It means their monthly sale is in the range of 10,000, 15,000 or 20,000 or 30,000 rupees, and they don't come under the preview of GST. But good thing is that whatever they are purchasing from the their stockist, how the consumptions are there within the villages, and which particular product is required for that particular area. These are the areas where we can explore working. But I think MFIs are more engaged for next couple of years in digitizing their process, having cashless collections, and even having the disbursal of second cycle loans within few minutes or few hours, and meeting the product innovation requirements in case of emergencies, disbursing the loans within 1 hour or 2 hours. That is the requirement at our end, and for next 3 or 4 years, the sector will be more busy in product innovations at its particular level. And definitely once the customer segment is upgrading within the ladder and their futuristic requirements can be tapped, and we are because we are last mile connectors of many more things, and the gold mine of developing India is in the hands of microfinance institutions. We are the only institution connecting more than 3 lakh plus villages in the country. It means our reach is there much deeper than anyone else, and any social or government body is unable to reach that particular untapped market where we are reaching. So that strength can be leveraged over a period of time, but after revised RBI guidelines, we all are busy in innovating our product, our process, and understanding the customer behavior post-COVID, how the center meeting discipline and many more things can be implemented. Thank you.
Thank you. Alok sir, your thoughts on digital partnerships with allied ecosystem?
Yes, actually, if you look at that issues, the digital partnership people are already doing. Just like in Janakalan, if you look at that, we have partnered with PayU, and we are doing this BBPS and majorly for digital collection. So partnership is always required for digital, and it is correct that we are facing a lot of other issues in the field for the group meetings, back to basics, what we used to talk. So that challenges are there, and when this attendance and other things also we are taking care through digitization. So that is the major challenges we are facing. So that is major challenges. Not we actually, or most of the MFI. My assumption always is like that, only that whenever you talk about digitization and all this, the cost is a major factor. As like the JAM, actually, if you look at the JAM Trinity, which has helped us to disburse seamlessly through NEFT, is a cashless disbursement. Most of the, out of 10 MFI, 9 MFI is doing like that only. Maybe small MFI they are not doing, but most of the MFI is doing cashless transaction through this disbursement. The same thing should happen in the collection. How it can be done, that is the major challenges we are facing. So partnership is always required, and the intermediary, just like he was telling, Gaurav was telling about the Airtel Payment Bank, it is like that only, sir. Whenever we used to go to some sort of bank or some intermediary, the cost is a major factor. That is a major hindrance for this.
Thank you. Gaurav, I think you can bring in another perspective, since Airtel Bank is involved in digitizing some of the last mile, especially payments acceptance infrastructure. And that level would also generate data, probably create credit sourcing opportunities which can be fulfilled by the players like MFIs. What have been your learnings in this space?
So Vivek, yeah, absolutely it can be done. And before I address that one, I'll actually want to sort of talk about what Vivek and Alok were talking about in terms of the disbursal at the last mile. I think one of the key enablers that we at Airtel Payments Bank can provide is to sort of disburse accounts to the next door BC points. Now, because of our far spread, huge reach at the village level, so as I mentioned, we have over 5 lakh banking points. The ability for us to disburse to the last mile whenever the money is required, at any point of time when the customer is needing the money, he can go and withdraw the cash. So that's one great advantage that we bring in. The second is, I've already mentioned about cash collections, and as we look forward, over the next few quarters, we are seeing there will be more product innovations that are happening in terms of cash collection, in terms of collections. So just not cash, but we are moving away from cash to making collections more digital and making it more seamless. Coming to the point that Vivek, you mentioned, absolutely, I think today we go and open accounts for the underbanked, and therefore most of them are new to credit. Now, one of the key enablers that we can provide to the MFIs is we can provide them the transaction history of such customers, which can be used by the MFIs to do the credit rating and the credit scoring. That I think is a key enabler, because in a way we've digitized the usage of a bank account at the rural. We have the QR codes, they are doing all recharges, bill payments, all of them are happening digitally. Now all of this transaction history, now it is becoming richer and richer. We are now 5 years as a bank, and therefore the data is becoming more and more richer, which can be shared. Obviously we can't share the entire database, but there can be processes set up to ensure that we are sharing data, and we are giving credit, extending credit to the last mile, to the new to bank customers, or to the new to credit customers, I should say.
Thank you so much. So we'll get into a conversation, maybe a little bit of background of UPMA and the organization that it works on, and specifically if you can throw light on how digital adoption has been used for both servicing the customers and reaching out to the customers and partnerships. Those are the themes that we have been chatting on.
Sir, UPMA is the State Association of Microfinance in the state of Uttar Pradesh. As AMFI here is doing work, we are also doing in UP. We are doing a lot of capacity building, trainings, and development of the organization, and all this image building with the government organizations and other things. As regards the digital transaction, what we feel is that this digitization is very good, because digitization is in two parts. What we see is in two parts. One is the in housekeeping or the MIS at the organization level, and other is with the clients. As regards the MIS, report, sanctioning process, application filling, these are all very good for the organization, because it saves the times, brings more accuracy, it travels much faster, and decision is transparent. As regards the digitization with the client, what we feel, in the morning session also, Gojda has said, that the biggest thing is that the client connect is missing. We have our experience that in UP, center meetings have diminished to around 45%. Around 45% people are not attending the center meeting. That is one of the biggest challenge for the microfinance, because you see, center meetings and meeting with the client is one of the basic ingredient of microfinance. When microfinance was started, it was not started as a business module. It started as a social module. And the thing was there that people need to connect socially. And it was not only with the organization, the client in itself also used to connect socially. There are instances when even the sons' marriages were settled in the center meeting. So center meeting, client interaction is the biggest ingredient of microfinance. With the indent of technology, this client connect is, of course, it is coming down. Now the center meetings, 45% center meetings, clients are not attending because clients are making payment through digitization, through GPay or other apps. So this is one of the biggest challenge what we feel. And second thing, you see, the technology is at a cost. technology is at a cost. Big organizations of 500 crores and above, they have the resources and they can meet the technology. But smaller organizations, less than 200 or 300 crores, they are having challenges in meeting the cost of technology. And third point is, the most valuable point is security of data. Data security is also a very important ingredient in technology. Data security, in fact, when we talk of the security, security has its entire inbuilt system. Whether it is a small organization or a big organization, you have to put the cost and the security at the same time, same amount. So for a smaller organization, data security and to secure the data is again a great challenge. So basic thing in technology is that we, whatever technology we are using at the organizational level for the sanction of loan, MIS or follow-up or other things, it's good. It is enabling the organization to move faster, doing better and being transparent. But as regards client consent meetings, client connect is lacking, and this has to be seen with a serious view. Thank you.
Great points, great points. Thank you so much, Sudhirji. Ashish, you want to weigh in on how such partnerships can play out?
So I think as we always discuss, the data is gold, data is oil, and microfinance, the data which they have, actually nobody has. Practically the data at the ground level, and we have connectivity also, and the data is also there, but practically I'll be talking something different which might be odd for you basically. But what are you doing actually? Practically the industry is dependent only on the loans which you are giving to the microfinance borrower, and there is a limitation after certain time, these borrowers will upgrade to the next level, then what the microfinance companies will do actually. So practically, although the DNA is social lending and all, but we have to see how we can help the lady to get the sustained income growth actually. That is important part. And as Vivekji told that your borrower is at the bottom of the pyramid actually. They need everything. They have the aspirations, because everybody has a smartphone. Whatever the information I have, you have, they also have the same information. So they want to have the other products also. So they have the aspiration for insurance, they have aspirations for the mutual fund, they have the aspirations of the gold loan, housing loan, they have the other aspirations also. So why can't the microfinance company which have reached a certain stage, they should diversify, they should think of how this data can be utilized in an ethical manner, and how they can help the lady who is at the village, their family, their children to growth, their education growth, although some of the MFIs are doing, but we need to think of, we need to strategize these things in our organization, and it can multiply your revenue. Ultimately, you have to show the revenue to the investors, the bottom line and all, but you are helping the particular, your borrower, for the sustained growth also in their income and the overall growth of that particular borrower. So this is my thought actually. It might be odd for all of you basically, but you see that Jio, what they are doing actually. Tata, I was talking to Tata. Tata has started one vertical for microfinance. They are developing the master super app where they will provide everything. So practically, industry should thought of about this. Sadhan, AMFI can come forward and they can work out some super app for the industry. We have all these things. ONDC, we have seen that you can help your borrower through ONDC, although I started just now basically some time back. But all your borrowers can come and they can sell their product through the ONDC as e-commerce actually. So definitely these are the areas which need to be think of and discussed. Maybe it may take 3 years to 5 years, but definitely it will help to your borrower and the industry overall.
Fantastic points, fantastic points. Just to pivot out, my next topic of conversation really was how is the industry adopting technology, especially in advanced technology, but hearing what we've been hearing, really tempering it by the fact that we are playing at the bottom of the pyramid, cost is a consideration. Just to make real, where do we think advanced analytics and technologies, and in which mechanisms have they been used? Can we play with open source? Many of you would have heard about areas like ChatGPT. What are the ways by which very pragmatically advanced analytics and knowing that we are working in an assisted model and working at the bottom of the pyramid can be leveraged? Vivek, I'll start with you. What are your learnings in that space?
What I am observing from the ecosystem
Even in the morning I was hearing from the guy from the SIDBI, that DMD from SIDBI, that they are working on the blockchain technologies, and even Udyam Aadhaar is going to be is coming in a big way. The way payment banks are developing their data and transactions of the customers can be captured carefully, and I think I was hearing from the Airtel Payment Bank that they are coming with the much demanded product of SI mandate from the saving accounts of the customers, and from where the EMIs can be collected through the SI mandate from the customers. It means these transactions will give some signal to the microfinance companies, and even we can understand their expenditure needs and many more things. The companies like us, means we have invested a lot in terms of technologies in last several years, but our more focus was digitization of our own processes, reducing the paper costs, and having the real-time information at the head office level so that we can act in advance. But this time is moving towards the next level where data from the ecosystem can be gathered at one platform, and whatever is good thing, whatever the good things are happening at the urban markets and HNI class, and in that particular segment, the similar things can be replicated in the base of the pyramid, I think in next 5 to 6 years time. Whatever the good things happen in the urban, it is just 5 years away from the rural. And rural people are aspirational class. They are ready to adopt the changes. And India is one of the most innovative country in terms of technologies and in terms of technology adaptations too. So gradually I am very much optimistic, positive that the data will be utilized differently. It is not today, but may not be for next 2 years, but after 2-3 years when the digital collections are in different way, entire geo-tagging and all the data is pooled at a central level, and blockchain technology is going to work in a different way. So definitely that will be utilized, and new market segment and market requirements can be analyzed in a very different way. The requirement of customers, it is not just a loan. Their requirements are, these are the families. They require many more products beyond the loans, then can be gradually analyzed. So that is a potential market for the microfinance institutions. Beyond the credit, I think that is what I personally call it, that is the gold mine for us, where we have opportunity to create the rural markets and to cater the rural markets in a very different way in the coming years.
Example, Viveki, which comes to my mind there was, till TikTok was in India, the rural market was adopting TikTok much faster than the urban market, and they had become video editors. So I think it's just a matter of giving them the tool sets which they could work with.
Almost 50% or 60% families, they are using the WhatsApps now. Almost Facebook, WhatsApp is a very common in the rural India, and every family has a family group, and where everyone is posting the morning messages and informations of the families. Almost I am saying in the even the remote rural areas, that is very common nowadays. So that is, and the age group that is below, that is in the range of 20 to 25 years, that is going to be the, that will take the entire journey to the next level.
They are born in social media that way. Yeah. Alokji?
Yeah, good thought. Everybody is talking about this. So that is good thought actually. If you see that industry also, the microfinance industry, if you look at the new age customers is coming, because the age actually is a major factor. Nowadays, if you look at 18 to, if you're 21 to 60 years old, this lady, or 58 years for us, so the demographic has been changed over last 20 years. Because in West Bengal or India, if you look at that, last 20 years, 25 years, actually the microfinance industry is working in a big way, and particularly after 2011, when the RBI regulation and everything came, so scenario has been changed from 20,000 crore to 3 lakh crore. Whatever changes we were looking, even SHG linkage program also gone to 2 lakh crore. So a lot of customer inclusion is happened last 10 years, if you look at that. The changes also, it is like that only. So in our customer base also, what actually Vivek was talking about, the same thing actually, few days back actually I was talking, some companies from Mumbai, so they talk that why we should not use for 10 rupees SIP. I told what will be the benefit for these customers? 10 rupees SIP per day. It is looks like the money lending type thing, what actually we used to do in, not we have done, but people are doing like this only, daily collection basis, 10 rupees collection. In banking industry also it was there, daily deposit scheme like this only. So it can be done. But then the cost of operation of all these things, what they told, it is clearly like that only. When the people are using WhatsApp, this nothing, all this technology they are using, so through that itself we can do this transaction. It is a very cheap rate, nothing is there, 10 rupees per day SIP they are wanting to do for our customer. So these things actually coming. And insurance also. The such a product like that only, that is also one thing. They wanted to do through this microfinance channel. So people are there, insurance, remittance, everything will be there. So it is coming. And if you look at last 5 years also, more than 5 years before Demon, some bank also have tried through this. They failed because of the cost of operation only, nothing else. But otherwise, people just savings is a very good thing. Opportunities are unlimited. And as Mr. Awal also talking morning in the CDF actually microfinance companies there in Bangladesh. It is such a small country and we are having only 53 or something like this as NBFC MFI data MPIN shows, but maybe 92 is there. So like this only, opportunities are unlimited. We can think on this, but I am agree with Vivek actually that now the process actually has to be established for the disbursement actually. How the cost minimization can be done for collection also through digitization. That is the main thing, and for that actually the customer awareness, digital awareness is much required. They are using Facebook, they are using internet, but they don't know how to doing this transaction. And more, of course, another one issue is that with our customer also, I have seen in the field that customer also having the mobile phone, but actually it is registered with their husband or son's name. So that is also another big thing. Market is there. We can think a lot of other things, but first of all, the things that we should bring back to our customer in our program, and they should be digital awareness should be there, and ecosystem. Mainly, government has to play a big role. Government has to play a big role. What we have done for that payment transaction deposit system, that is the thing actually we have to do.
And those were good thoughts in terms of, probably I'll pivot it because we've got some limited time. I want to move it to the next section, but those are useful inputs in terms of, especially from an MFI lens, what are the opportunities and challenges when it comes to adoption of technology? Sorry? I'll just allow for the final round and then happy to take a Q&A from the audience. Sure. So,
One or two questions because of lack of time. No, to managing that, at least 10-15%
sir, we can have the, so if you are comfortable, then why don't we move on to give you time, sir? Why don't we take questions from the audience? Happy to take that. If there are no questions, then we can do another round of discussion. Yeah, please. I think there are two more, but we need.
So, I'm Ajit Mahathi. I'm also representing one MFI. Anyway, we are all thinking digitalization to cutting the cost and time. Whose? For MFIs. But at the cost increased by the borrowers. उसको बैंक में जाना है, who will be at that cost? Their traveling cost, their wages cost. You are disbursing digitally, 100%, but not every village no ATM. So she has to move 5 kilometers. So there is a cost. There is a labor wages. The who is getting? There is one way. Similarly, digital payment bank. If I have the money in the savings bank, then only I can transfer. But that savings, I have to again go to the bank. I have to park my deposit in that bank. Otherwise, I cannot do that. But we are not thinking about how to reduce the borrower's cost. That we have to think. Thank you.
Any response from the panel?
So these are very valid points in terms of, and I'll sort of try to address how are we enabling MFIs to reduce costs for the borrowers as well. So one is the way we work is a customer can walk in to my BC point, to my banking point, and he can deposit cash even if he is not an account holder of my bank. Yes, sir. Absolutely. So the bank, yes, sir. We have around 5 lakh banking points, and a few of the MFIs are already using this. So we'll be happy to connect. The second is, sir, in terms of the cost again, what we've also started doing, we've started training sessions for people who are doing remittances. Now, there are a lot of remittance corridors in the country. They'll be in Calcutta, there are in Gujarat, where the migrant is transferring money to the villages. Now, in the old days, every time money was transferred to a village, as you rightly pointed out, the customer had to travel all the way to a bank to withdraw the cash. Now we are training the migrants to start using Airtel Payments Bank because there is a bank right next door to their house. Because the retailer is sitting in every village. So he transfers the money to an Airtel Payments Bank account, and the villager, his wife or parents, they can actually withdraw cash from there itself. And that's how we are enabling in reducing costs. Even while we talked about MFIs, I was just talking about the cost that we are trying to sort of reduce for customers at large.
Great points. So,
yeah, I think the point that he raised is absolutely relevant from a benefit to the customer or benefit to the company perspective. And let me put it in a slightly different context, that I think different methods, different technologies, different approaches are being used by different companies, which doesn't give us the benefit of optimization of cost. Right? Because you don't know what really is going to work in the future. For example, on cashless, we've tried AEPS, we've tried payment banks, we've tried wallets, right? Because one is not very clear, and since there is no uniform approach, the costs are actually getting disbursed across a lot of approaches, and smaller companies or medium-sized companies would hesitate to actually venture into one particular approach, not knowing whether it will work in the future, right? So there is also a hardware cost, there is a software cost, and as somebody rightly mentioned, the EMI that we are talking about for our customer is really small. So from a percentage basis in terms of cost, either the customer has to pay or we have to pay. So, so the point that I'm trying to say is that unless this sector is looked at as an opportunity by people who matter, and one uses a common code to actually work, one will not get the economies of scale which is necessary to work in this sector.
interesting. Any other thoughts or comments or queries?
Adding to what Manoj sir said and Ajit Dada said, can we not look at something different? Yesterday I was speaking to somebody from here only, as Manoj sir said in the morning program also, Uberization of digital financial model. You take the example of, I was giving this example, take the example of Swiggy. You just click and Swiggy reaches your house and delivers you the platform. So can we not look at a platform like this, where the local Kirana shop, who is a BC partner of certain payment bank or certain bank, he reaches out to the customer, and it's a hybrid model. We are talking about customer not being literate enough to transfer money, which I have a different opinion, because when I have gone to the group meeting and I've spoken to people, when I ask them a different kind of question, when I ask them how many of you are using app, they'll say none. But if I ask them how many of you are using Amazon, how many of you are using Flipkart or similar apps,
YouTube,
they will all raise their hand. You know, it's just like a TV. I mean, previous TV, there was one TV in the house. So a smartphone, one smartphone is enough for the whole family to do all that they want to do. You know, so something like that, a hybrid model where the local Kirana partner or the local Airtel showroom guy reaches out to them to collect the money. It's a revenue model for the person collecting, also a revenue model, a convenience model for the person giving the money. You know, I was surprised to hear, I mean, I was invited to Nagaland in a remotest hill, I mean, where finance minister also had come down. We had a closed door meeting where finance minister was narrating that in a remotest hill of Nagaland, there was connectivity, which is again a strength for India. And the local BC partner was making an income of more than 40,000 rupees. You know, so in turn, we are also creating a separate employment opportunity. Can we not have that? Or is there a regulatory constraint? Yesterday, as I was speaking to Airtel Payment Bank, they were saying there are regulatory constraint that it has to be BC has to be a brick and mortar where the person has to sit in his office and make the collection. So where is the additional risk if the person has to go to the site of the customer to make the collect, and why the regulations which is very restrictive? So is there a regulatory restriction, or is there a mindset block, you know, which is stopping us from adopting various innovative models which can make it a very inclusive digital model?
Anyone? I think we covered a little bit when you gave the payment bank touchpoint example. If I can just add on with my experience, there's one entity we're working with, at least last mile. Very critical point is how do we make that point profitable? How do we increase the income? One aspect is how do we get into allied financial products? I think Vivek ji and Alok ji both spoke about mutual funds, and I think Ashish touched upon it. How do we get into that ecosystem? But can you go beyond that? Can you go into non-financial products as well? If someone, can you be a last touch point order taker for an Amazon? Right? So I think as we go beyond this, probably that aspect could come through, but great thoughts, sir. Sir, your question, comment.
My name is Mohammad Abdullah. I'm from Bangladesh, Executive Director of Credit and Development Forum. One thing, my understanding is that current digital transformation is still being led by the banking system, right? But the customers are ours, microfinance institutions, but we have to develop some sort of ecosystem with the banking system, digital financial service provider. Can we not think about any model, any system that will be MFIs led? We have to work a lot for it. We have to lobby a lot. I think that will be the only option left to give the better service, on-time service to our clients. You know, in Bangladesh, you know, there are many inaccessible areas, Howard areas, wetlands, hilly areas. The ATMs and branches are not nearby, sometimes far away. So the digital payment is made, but they cannot take the benefit of it, right? So therefore, I think we should, the networks and the MFI should lobby for a system, a model, which should be MFIs led, because we understand our clients, right? So this is my comment.
Sure. Any thoughts? I'm sure there will be support for this thought, but sorry.
Definitely, that is the main thing actually. When the standardized operation you will be doing, so you need a common platform when everybody can use. If in banking also, just like you told that Pinnacle FIS like this only is there, but when they're using Pinnacle or FIS or something like this only, so then that is the standardization procedure is there. So microfinance also there, but again for the small MFI also you have to take care of the cost and how do you do. Then this ecosystem has to be changed by the government actually majorly. How the SIDBI, NABARD and other developmental institutions also can play a big role on this. So that is the thing actually we required. No, definitely. Oh, yeah. Yesterday also we have discussed on this, that
right.
Lobby with the government and the other DFI, right. We have to take a big role.
Okay, thank you.
All right, great thoughts, engaging conversation. I think if we had more time, I felt this could go on for some more time and we would have learned a lot more things. I hope we can continue our discussions on a more one-to-one basis. The organizers are giving me a look, so I'll thank my panelists for their thoughts. I think cumulatively it was quite enriching. Thank you, audience, for coming in with your observations. They really added a dimension to what we discussed. So thank you all, and hope all of us have a great day of learning going forward. Thank you.
Not there. Thank you. Thank you, Vivek. May I please ask Mr. Karthik Biswas, MD of Uttarayan, to please come up on stage and present a token of appreciation for our dear guests on stage. Sorry, just give me a minute. Sorry, give us a minute. While they're getting that together, we have lunch served outside in 3 places. There's the front lobby and the back lobby, and there's a lounge, so please find space in about a minute's time. Just a minute. Mr. Karthik Biswas, Shri Gaurav Seth, CFO of Airtel Payments Bank. Thank you, sir, for being here with us today. Thank you, sir. Sorry. Thank you. Shri Alok Biswas, MD, Jonacolan Financial Services and IndiTrade Microfinance Limited. Thank you, sir. Shri Vivek Tiwari, MD of Satya Microfinance. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Our moderator, Shri Vivek Belgavi, partner at PwC. Thank you, Vivek. For that insightful session. Thank you very much. And finally, Shri Ashish Agrawal, Director of Resurgent India Limited. Thank you, sir. And Shri Sudhir Sinha, CEO of Upma. Thank you, Mr. Sinha, for being here and for your insights. Thank you, sir.